Okay, here we go, Grammatics, Orion aka Brass Balls, and I'm hitting y'all again because this is the 10th year anniversary of my third album, Hunting Season. This was my third solo release. Hopefully y'all are enjoying these breakdowns. It's dope to go down memory lane with this. So let's get into this. I've already gone over the first couple of tracks on this. Now we are at the point of the album where an interlude hits. It's called The Biggest Game. So where did this interlude come from? What's going on in this particular track, and what does it mean to the whole album? Let me explain. With this album, Hunting Season, I wanted to curate the proper amount of dope interludes that would complement the album and not just do some ridiculous skits that don't mean anything. So the beat that you're hearing is actually a tie-in with the initial beat that started off the whole album. Remember, this album starts with an intro that's just a dark beat that I made. Well, this beat is part of that beat. It's a continuation of that beat. So I thought it would be cool to reintroduce this beat, but now with some cool movie dialogue. Now let's get into this movie dialogue. It's from a 1974 horror flick called The Beast Must Die. I remember seeing this movie a bunch of times on TV 33 or UPN or whatever, like one of these movies that they'll play on a Sunday or whatever, and you don't even know why you're watching it. The movie is actually not the greatest, I'm not gonna lie, but The Beast Must Die is basically a movie about a hunter who is played by Calvin Lockhart, who's a fantastic actor, I want to say. And he's a hunter who is trying to find a werewolf. And he believes that through this dinner party that he put together, that one of his guests is in fact a werewolf. He's done some research and he is sure about this, but he's not sure as to which one of them is the werewolf. And he's gonna fucking find out in this dinner party. So this was a dialogue portion where he's talking to one of the guests about a little bit of his history. What I liked about what he was saying is that he's touching on how he's a hunter, not just in the sense of hunting game, but also his hunt for success in this world. And he mentions basically snaring tourists in the little shanty town he's from, and how it took him into Miami, Florida. And I just thought it was so dope that here is this guy that's a great hunter, and he's trying to find this supernatural entity in a werewolf amongst these friends of his in a dinner party. And just the mere fact that he's recognizing his upbringing in a ghetto area, and then it brought him to Miami, Florida. I just thought it was dope on how that whole dialogue was put together, and I was able to chop it up. So if you listen to it, I did kind of tweak it so it would make sense with my album. So that's where all of that came from. And it ends with him saying, with the friend asking him, so what's the point in all this? And he's it blends in perfect with the very next track, and that track is That Earnin. So you just hear him say that, and then the first thing you hear is the sample for the next song, which is called That Earnin. So now this is a 2-for-1. We're gonna get into the track that comes right after this interlude, The Biggest Game of All, and that is That Earnin, produced by the great Draz of Citation Sounds, the homie from Smoke and Mirrors. The homie has a long history of production, and I've had the privilege of working with him a number of times. He had 2 joints he produced on this album, and That Earnin is one of them. Now, we did add a bass line to give it an extra groove, and that again is Miles Hancock on bass. I loved what he did with it. I just felt that after I had recorded my vocals, there was low end that was missing there, and I felt that it wasn't just about having low end, but also having some low end that was provided by a particular bass groove. And I think Miles I kind of gave him the idea of what I wanted, and he did it for the most part. It was well executed. I kind of was going for like that type of bass groove that you would hear on Tupac, How Do You Want It? You know what I mean? That bass line that's just very infectious and, you know, very groovy. The inspiration for the subject matter on the song was all inspired by the hook, that Earnin. And that's something that I love about Draz production sometimes, is that he always includes something in the hook already that will already start steering your pen in the right direction. This song it's got 3 verses. Yes, this is that era of dropping 3 16-bar verses with an 8-bar hook. This era was obnoxious for lyricists, but it is what it is. And it's basically me giving myself props in where I currently was at with my career, but at the same time practicing the art of self-manifestation. You feel me? Like the law of attraction, and just trying to bring better things to my horizon. You know, I shout out, you know, dropping an album in 2008, which was, to me, it was no small feat. I shout out doing shows in different places. I mentioned on the 3rd verse, blue collar MC who just got laid off. You know, this is an era, 2009, 2010, 2011, where like your homie was struggling. You know what I mean? The recession was hitting hard, and it hit me particularly hard. I had lost my 9-to-5, but I was still cranking out these joints, and it just bled into what I was doing lyrically. Something dope to that I want to mention is I actually used to perform this song quite a lot. I loved performing this song. I loved the verses. Sometimes I would do all 3 verses. Sometimes I would just do the first 2. But I remember I performed the whole song, all 3 verses, on the Celebration Cruise Line. So me and my girl got hooked up to go on Celebration Cruise Lines, and you know, they had me perform a joint out there. So it was dope. I got to perform it. People were like not expecting a lyricist to be on their cruise, but I definitely did my thing, definitely killed it, got a lot of respect. There's a YouTube video out there of it, and you could peep the whole performance on it. And I actually got to meet, believe his name is David Mann, of the group. It was a sitcom. I don't know what network it was on. It was called Meet the Browns. Tyler Perry produced it. He was actually in the audience, and he really loved what he heard. I remember he came up to me quoting the particular part in the song where I say, I got a bottle of Colgate, smile and don't hate. Come on with what your folks say. Some shit along those lines. But he really loved that line, and it was dope to meet him. I really hadn't seen that show at that point, but he had told me, like, yeah, I played this character on Meet the Browns, and that was pretty dope to have that experience and everything. You know, shout out to my girl who filmed the video, so y'all can peep that on YouTube. So yeah, man, I wanted to do a full video for this song, actually. Like, this was one of the joints I really wanted to do a video for, but unfortunately, you know, getting a music video in those days wasn't like it is today, but it is what it is. That's it, y'all. That's all I got for y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed this Orion, aka Brass Balls hunting season 10th year anniversary. Go peep that shit on Spotify, all the streaming platforms. Peace.